entrance sentiment is at the top of page 254. I am the salvation of the people, says the Lord. Should they cry to me in any distress, I will hear them, and I will be their Lord forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. In order to prepare ourselves to celebrate these sacred mysteries, let us call to mind our sins. Lord Jesus, you raised the dead to new life. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. You feed us with your body and blood. Christ, have mercy. Christ, have mercy. You plead for us at the right hand of the Father. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. May Almighty God have mercy on us, forgive us our sins, and bring us to everlasting life. Amen. Let us pray. O God, who founded all the commands of your sacred law upon love of you and of our neighbor, grant that by keeping your precepts we may attain eternal life through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanities of vanities. All is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Round and round goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. All things are full of weariness. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, see, this is new? It has already been in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of later things yet to happen among those who come after. The word of the Lord. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. You turn man back to dust, saying, return, O children of men. For 1,000 years in your sight are as yesterday, now that it is past, or as a watch of the night. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. You make an end of them in their sleep. The next morning they are like the changing grass, which at dawn springs up anew, but by evening wilts and fades. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain wisdom of heart. Return, O Lord, how long? Have pity on your servants. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Fill us at daybreak with your kindness, that we may shout for joy and gladness all our days. Prosper the work of our hands for us. Prosper the work of our hands. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge.
Alleluia, alleluia. I am the way and the truth and the life, says the Lord. No one comes to the Father but by me. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of all that was done by Jesus, and he was perplexed, because it was said by some that John had been raised from the dead, by some that Elijah had appeared, and by others that one of the old prophets had risen. Herod said, John I beheaded, but who is this about whom I hear such things? And he sought to see him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus.
Our readings for the next few days are from the book of Ecclesiastes, otherwise known as the Preacher. As inspired by divine wisdom, this book demands to be received and studied with a reverential attention. And whether its lessons are congenial or unwelcome, they deserve the consideration of every age and from every section of society. Some people resent the opening words that we've heard this morning from this treatise as being gloomy and morbid, perhaps like the weather outside. Others hail them as the expression of reason and wisdom. But the truth they contain is independent of any human moods and is only fully appreciated by those whose observation is extensive and whose reflection is profound. The author makes a broad and unqualified statement that all things earthly and human are vanity. What is this? This may be a statement of a mood of feeling because of someone's individual experience. There are times when everyone is distressed and disappointed, when plans come to nothing, when hopes are blasted, when friends fail, when prospects are clouded, when the heart sinks. It's the common lot from which no one can expect to be exempt. In some instances, the stormy sky clears and brightens, while in other instances the gloom thickens and settles. But we can confidently assert that at some period and in some circumstances, every human being whose experience of life is large and varied has felt as though he's been living an illusion, the vanity of which has been perhaps suddenly made apparent. And then the language of the writer of Ecclesiastes has risen to his lips. And he's exclaimed in bitterness, vanity of vanities. All is vanity. So this may be a statement of a mood based on individual experience. It may be a statement of a painful experience dependent on some special times, whether political or ecclesiastical. Because every nation, every church passes through periods of prosperity and confidence and energy and hope, and through periods of adversity and discouragement and depression and paralysis. The Israelites had their times of conquest and of progress, and they also had their times of defeat, of captivity, of subjection, of humiliation. So it's been with every person, every state. And likewise, when someone declines from the divine standard of faith and purity and consecration, how natural it is that the enlightened and spiritual members of that church should, in their grief over the general deadness of the religious community, give way to feelings of discouragement and foreboding, which find a fitting expression in the cry, "Vanity of vanities. All is vanity." It may be a statement of a personal mood. It may be a statement of a political or ecclesiastical experience. It may be a statement of philosophical reflection about the facts of nature and of human life. It would be a mistake to suppose that the cry of vanity is always the evidence of a merely transitory, although powerful, mood of feeling. There have been nations and ages and states of society with which it's been a settled conviction that hollowness and emptiness characterize all human and earthly affairs. Pessimism may be a philosophical creed, as with the ancient Buddhists. It may be a conclusion reached by reflection on the facts of life. To some minds, unreason is at the heart of the universe, and in this case, there is no ground for hope. To other minds, when they look at human affairs, it suggests an aimlessness in the world, a despondency in an observant or a reflective mind. And thus even some who enjoy health and prosperity, and in whose circumstances there's nothing to justify discouragement or hopelessness, those are found without any serious satisfaction in existence, ready to sum up their conclusions derived from perhaps a prolonged and an extensive survey of human life, in the words of the writer of Ecclesiastes. All is vanity. Or this may be a statement of religious conviction, springing from and leading to the knowledge of an eternal and a glorious God. The student of physical science looks at facts, and it's that person's duty to observe and to classify the facts, their arrangement under certain relations of likeness or of sequence. It's that person's business in which that person renders a great service to mankind. But thought is as necessary as observation. A higher explanation than science can give us is required by human nature. We're forced not only to observe that something is, but also to ask why something is. Human life is composed not only of movements, which can be scientifically accounted for, but of actions, for which the explanation is more than physical, for which the explanation is spiritual. There's a craving for explanation. Why, we ask, are things the way they are? Why is there something rather than nothing? It's the answer to this question which distinguishes the pessimist from the one who believes in God. The wise, the enlightened, the religious seek a spiritual and a moral meaning in the universe. In their view, if things are regarded by themselves apart from a divine reason working in and through them, they are emptiness and vanity. But on the other hand, if they're regarded in the light of that divine reason, which is order and righteousness and love, they're suggestive of what is very different indeed from vanity. To a thoughtful and a reverent mind, apart from God, all is vanity. Seen in the light of God, nothing is vanity. Both these seeming contradictions are true, and they're reconciled in a higher affirmation and a unity. Look at the world in the light of logical understanding, and it makes no sense. It's all vanity. Look at it in the light of divine wisdom, and it is the expression of divine reason and divine goodness. Pray that this, my sacrifice and yours, may be acceptable to God the Father Almighty. May the Lord accept the sacrifice at my hands, for the praise and glory of his name, for our good and the good of all his holy church. Receive with favor, O Lord, the offerings of your people, that what they profess with devotion and faith may be theirs through these heavenly mysteries, through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. Lift up your hearts. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is truly right and just, our duty and our salvation, always and everywhere to give you thanks, Lord, Holy Father, Almighty and eternal God. For although you have no need of our praise, yet our thanksgiving is itself your gift. Since our praises add nothing to your greatness, but profit us for salvation through Christ our Lord. And so in company with the choirs of angels we praise you, and with joy we proclaim, Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts, heaven and earth are full of your glory. Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. You are indeed holy, O Lord, the fount of all holiness. Make holy, therefore, these gifts, we pray, by sending down your Spirit upon them like the dew, so that they may become for us the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. At the time he was betrayed and entered willingly into his passion, he took bread and, giving thanks, broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, Take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and once more giving thanks, he gave it to his disciples, saying, Take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me. Son, Jesus Christ. Through him, and with him, and in him, O God, Almighty Father, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor is yours, forever and ever. At the Savior's command, and formed by divine teaching, we dare to say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us, Lord, we pray, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the hope of your mercy we may be always free from sin and safe from all distress, as we await the blessed hope and the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ.
For the kingdom, power, and glory are yours, now and forever.
Lord Jesus Christ, who said to your apostles, Peace I leave you, my peace I give you, look not on our sins, but on the faith of your church, and graciously grant her peace and unity in accordance with your will, who live and reign forever and ever.
Amen.
The peace of the Lord be with you always.
And with your spirit.
Lamb of God,
You take away the sin of the world. Have mercy on us. Lamb of God, you take away the sin of the world. Have mercy on us. Lamb of God, you take away the sin of the world. Grant us peace.
behold the Lamb of God, behold him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper